Hey guys, I am headed outside to plant up some runner beans that are in desperate need of getting into the ground. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm outside. I'm with my beans. So I just wanted to show you what I'm planting today. And then I think probably when I am actually planting them, I will tell you about each of the varieties. So first up we have Blue Lake. The Blue Lake seeds were given to me by a friend. Thank you, Matt. I am going to plant these all along the back side of the fence because I have a lot of these. And just again to show you, I planted these in one flat. I'm not sure that's something that I'm going to recommend in the future because I don't know how well they're going to do with having their roots disturbed, but I just wanted to try it out this once. And then I have one Scarlet runner bean. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this guy, but we'll see. And then I have 4 Rattlesnake Masters, which I think have been doing pretty well for me. So I'm actually going to plant them up where I had the cucamelons before. Cucamelons, yeah. And then finally I have a Kentucky, I think it's Kentucky Wonder. And I'm going to plant this one up there as well because I think the Kentucky Wonder has also been a big producer for me this year. I'm going to go ahead and get away from some of these mosquitoes down here on the floor, and then I will talk to you in a second. Okay guys, so I wanted to tell you about the beans that I have been growing so far this year, and then just kind of go over the beans that I am planting out now for succession sowing. So all the beans that I am talking about today are pole beans, so they need support to grow on. Here I have all of my trellises, which I have been growing my beans on, and it's worked out perfectly so far. So the first bean that I want to talk about is the Kentucky Wonder bean. This is a really, really old bean, and it's probably one of the most popular beans. And it has been planted since like the 1800s. The Kentucky Wonder bean can be used fresh, frozen, cooked, or dried. And it probably is one of the best beans that I had experience with this summer so far. Another reason why it's popular is because it is resistant to rust, and also the pods get up to 8 to 9 inches long. If you want to do any fresh eating with those, you will want to harvest them when they're a little bit smaller than the fully mature size. The next bean I want to talk about is the Blue Lake pole runner bean. It is good for is excellent actually for canning. I don't have any experience with that, but it is also good for eating fresh and freezing. And I haven't tried these ones before, so this will be my first time growing them. I'm growing them against the back fence of my cutting garden, so I can't speak to their taste, but I can say based on the information I looked up, these are a very popular bean and very high yielding bean as well. The pods on these guys get up to about 6 inches, so for fresh eating you want to harvest a little smaller. And also in some of the information that I looked at online concerning the Blue Lake pole beans or runner beans, with this variety, you really need to keep picking them to continue the harvest. The next bean that I want to talk about is the Rattlesnake pole bean. Let me show you what these look like. They are so super cool. Here are some that I picked this morning. They have this purple streaking, and they're just so cool, you know, like why wouldn't you want them? So, but anyway, they have been a pretty good producer. Definitely a bean that I will grow again in the future. Something that I found on one of the websites that I was looking at concerning the Rattlesnake pole bean is that it's really good for the hot and humid areas. So you've heard me go on and on about how annoyingly hot it is here or humid. So the rattlesnake bean or rattlesnake pole bean is definitely one that you would want to try if you are in my area. The next bean that I wanted to talk to you about today is the Scarlet runner bean. And I have to say that I have been thoroughly disappointed in the Scarlet runner bean. I have gotten nothing off of these beans all season. And you want to know what? I just found out why when I was doing research for this video. A lot of times the scarlet runner bean is just grown for the flower, and the hummingbirds love the flower, so it can be grown as an ornamental, but it is also edible both in the pods and if you want to shell the beans and dry them. The dried beans are supposed to have a nut-like flavor, which sounds phenomenal to me. I found on the Southern States website that scarlet runner beans will not produce pods in the mid-Atlantic until late summer and early fall. So no wonder I've been so upset about them not producing. I didn't know that, and I found that on the Southern States website. So all the bad talk I have done about scarlet runner beans to any of you out there, I take it all back, and I will let you know what happens when we get later in the season and through the fall when the pods are supposed to start forming then. Oh, one other note. This was so cool. This sounds so cool. I think I'm gonna try it. Okay, so the scarlet runner beans, you can dig up their, like they have like this bulbous root or ball, and you can dig that up in the fall in milder climates. And I think where I am in Northern Virginia in zone 7A, that I'm kind of like on the line there. But anyway, I got gnats everywhere, sorry. Supposedly you can take that and store that away and then replant it in the spring. So that sounds so cool. So definitely an experiment that I'm gonna try. So stay tuned for that. The final bean that I want to mention are the purple pod pole beans. And let me show you some that I harvested this morning. Okay, so these beans, I got these beans in a seed packet that had the rattlesnake and the purple pod. And I have to say that the purple pod beans have been so prolific this year. I have had so many of these and eaten so many of these this year. The great thing about these guys is the color. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but the color totally stands out against the green in comparison to like the Kentucky Wonder, and I think probably what the Blue Lake will be like. Not that I'm not going to grow them for that reason, because they are fantastic. Woo! Big ass carpenter bee. Anyway, the Kentucky Wonder, and it was a fantastic producer, so that'll be in my garden every year. But just, it's something about how easy it is to find these that I just love. So when I did my succession sowing, like my second sowing of all my beans just recently, these were in the same, like it was a combined packet of rattlesnake beans and the purple pole beans. And apparently I only sowed the rattlesnake ones by accident. So I don't have any new ones, but I'm going to keep that plant going here. I'm not going to rip it out yet and see how much more I can get out of it. There's a bird. It's mad at me. I've been in here too long for that. I've been in here too long for them. I think that's the goldfinch, because they really like to come down on these rudbeckias and go to town. Okay, back to the beans. I wasn't able to get the goldfinch on camera. So yeah, super excited about the bean harvest this year. Thank you guys so much for joining me to talk all about beans and what I'm doing with beans in my garden and what my plans are. I'd really love to try some new recipes if y'all have any. Oh, I did try dilly beans and I didn't like them, so maybe I did it wrong. If any of you have like tried and true dilly bean, fermented bean recipes, or some sort of way to preserve them other than canning them, let me know in the comments, because I'd really like to try a couple other ways. My family's big on eating beans, so if I can figure out how to preserve them in a way that we actually like them, then that would be great. Like the smushy canned green beans, I don't like those. And then it seems like whenever I buy green beans from the grocery store and then I freeze them, when I go to cook them, like we like them roasted a lot, then they're smushy again. So I'm just trying to find the right recipe that doesn't produce a lot of smushiness. Okay guys, if you have stuck with me this long, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I know your time is valuable and I appreciate you being here with me. please consider subscribing and doing all those things. And yeah, I will catch you on my next video. Thanks again.